Hello, and welcome to the second episode recap. It's me, Blue, and Drew again. And this episode was more exciting than last episode, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Moya first. So, thoughts, guys?
You want me to go? You want me to go first?
Either or.
Okay. I thought it was pretty. I think it was still pretty chill over there. It definitely seems like there's a little confusion as to like who might be on the outs. A couple people like didn't really seem to know like what would happen if they lost.
Yeah.
Obviously, it seems between like a kind of few set amount of people, but it doesn't really seem like there's any dead set target completely. At least in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that there's kind of a totem pole. Like, I think I would put like Jacob and Marcus and like Kenna at the top for sure, just because like they seem like they're kind of in all these alliances and they're just kind of like trying to like make all these connections and stuff. But it's kind of, I think everyone's kind of confused as to like where everyone's true loyalties lie. You see like a lot of like doubts in several of the confessionals. Like I think like Marcus was talking about like he was being suspicious of Kenna for like trying to start like all these multiple alliances, and then like Jacob was like saying like he's all these alliances, and like but he is afraid of like people knowing that he's in all these alliances because like that might cause distrust. So like I think that even though they're not going to trouble, it's really interesting to kind of see the dynamics slowly forming. And hopefully, when the swap comes, I think that'll make it more interesting to see. Like maybe they'll flip, maybe people will do something unexpected.
I really just want them to lose.
I do too. I really do.
I really do. Yeah.
Like we had a shit show of a tribal over on SEMA today or last night.
Yeah.
It like ended up calm enough, but like the first like hour.
Yeah, the first hour was, especially for a pre-merge tribal, like you don't see that a whole lot.
We'll get to that, but right now, yeah, there's this pretty clear totem pole. I think it's interesting how like Toby's in an alliance when like everyone's like Toby doesn't talk.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And then suddenly the Moo alliance is there, and he's like, "Yes, I'm bonding with people." Moo. And so that was interesting. Aura like actually gave a confessional and is like thinking about game stuff, but it's clearly on the bottom because they weren't around the first day.
Right.
But yeah, I think the whole totem pole thing was right. It's like Jacob and Marcus, everyone else, more or less.
Right. Yeah.
But
they kind of have like Josh, Kenna, Cow, and like Toby as like numbers, right? I think that's it. And then like Casper, Cobalt, Aura, Kieran are probably at the bottom.
I'd say Cobalt's doing fine. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because I feel like the most legit alliance is the four guys walk into a bar, which has Cobalt in it.
Oh, okay. I like haven't actually read these alliances yet, but good to know.
Because four guys walk into a bar. That everyone in that alliance but Marcus is also in the Cow alliance.
Gotcha.
So, like I feel like Cobalt is in a decent spot as well, and he's not so far down the totem pole, even if he doesn't confess to us ever.
Right.
Yeah, do something.
Right, yeah, that's why I was like not sure about him, because like I haven't really seen him like talk too much in his confessional. I know he's doing like another org at the moment that I'm spectating. I don't know if he's putting
excuses
that one. No, I'm just saying like that's most likely the reason why he's like kind of dropping the ball a bit with confessionals, but maybe when that game is over he'll pick it up here. But I mean, he's not doing badly. He's not like Aura or like, he's not, like,
I think he's doing fine socially. It's just a matter of confessionals, and possibly once Moya loses, hopefully Moya loses. Once he goes to tribal, I think that it could pick up a little bit.
I mean, honestly, it's not like that bad of a thing to like be in the position he's in. Like, you don't want to be like the kingpin necessarily too early, because I feel like Jacob and Marcus are gonna be like targets of the merge if everyone sees that like they're these huge like social threats that are like in all these alliances, and like I don't know if they're going to be able to manage that well. And so I feel like Cobalt is in a good position to kind of like take over at the merge. I think he's the kind of guy that will kind of like float pre-merge, and then like once the merge comes, he'll pick it up. And then because like these other people like already had a presence early on, he's going to be able to like fall into the background. And like I think he'll make it far if he does get to the merge.
I want to bring up something interesting that came up in Kenny's confessional that has to do with this tribe. When he brought up how like he was worried that they were never going to lose going into a swap, and that would keep them unified. And I don't think that's true because like a
Yeah, I
lot
think
of the
on
time.
this. Yeah, I think on the same token, like it can create uncertainty or whatever. I
Because
think that's probably what you're going for.
you never really know where you stand unless you go to a tribal. Like if your tribe has a unified like 9-1 vote, you're like, all
Right.
right, we're unified. But if you never go to tribal, you have all these plans, but also the longer you don't go to tribal, the more paranoia builds up.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's interesting with this tribe, depending on where they're at come a swap, is
Right.
especially because like we saw it a lot this episode, just paranoia in general about idols with a bunch of people. Because like
Yeah.
you mentioned idols in a question, and everyone's like, "Oh God,
Right.
idols!" And
Right.
like, um, spoiler alert: the idols hadn't even been hidden yet.
At
At
that
that
point.
point, yeah. Um, but now that idols are actually in play, I'm not gonna like give away where they are or anything because you never know. But now that idols are actually in play, I feel it's gonna be interesting to see how those tie into things because maybe people aren't gonna be hunting anymore because they spent so much of last episode hunting, which would be
Right.
hilarious. So that's something that I want to keep an eye on because that was causing people to like freak out and like think about things differently, even though they weren't even a factor yet.
Definitely.
Yeah. Otherwise, this tribe won. uh, anything else to add about these guys?
Not much.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I don't
it.
know.
I
Yeah.
think we covered like like the whole totem pole thing. Things are kind of like unclear, but there are like still things going on. We saw the first few alliances on Moya like episode 2, which is good to see that they're not just like totally out doing nothing all the time. But I
I
guess or what were you saying?
yeah, I still find it weird. Marcus in confessionals is talking about how like bottom of his totem pole is Toby, not
But then
Right.
Aura.
Toby's in an alliance.
Yeah, but
So
like Marcus keeps going on about how he kind of likes Aura, like he's not around that much, but he likes
Right.
him. But
Right.
then we don't see that factored in anywhere else except for his confessionals,
Right.
which
I
if
think
you like someone and want to keep them around over someone else, you should make at least a little bit of effort.
yeah.
Like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, otherwise, I think this tribe's pretty stagnant. And like, no fault of their own. They've just won both the first 2 challenges. So
Right. Yeah, I think if I were to choose someone to like who would go at the first travel, it would probably be Aura or honestly, I think Kieran. People have been saying Kieran as like a possible first boot. He's not really. I don't think he's in any alliances right now, right? Yeah, so like I could see both of them as like being a first boot just because like they're on the outs and people want like an easy vote. Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's all I have to say with that.
All right, then let's move on to clusterfuck the tribe, Sema, and this tribe. It started out a bit more of the same before they lost the challenge.
Right.
No new well, one new alliance was formed.
Is it?
But
Oh, hello.
oh
Yeah.
hello, but like Ethan threw that together. But anyways,
Did Ethan just like randomly create it again? Because like I
I'm
swear
pretty
he like
sure
did that like
he was
already.
like,
Like
these are the people I want to work with, and then those people, I'll sold them out instantly. But so they lose the challenge, and Sham maxed out on time, and
Oh my
so
God.
instantly people were like, "Sham maxed out. We're losing a bunch of challenges. We should
Right.
go and do challenge strength," which
Right.
makes sense in this scenario. Normally, I'm not like someone who's like, "Yeah, you should vote out people on challenge strength," but if you've lost 2 in a row, you don't want to keep losing. You should probably vote on challenge strength. But
Right.
then this is what we talked about last round. William is like, "No, it's gotta be Mason." Screaming to the rooftops
Oh
for
my
all
God.
to hear. Mason is a social threat. Mason is gonna flip on us. Mason's gonna destroy us. Mason's this huge threat, and everyone
Right.
else is just like,
What?
what? And then Kenny's like, I want to protect Sham, so yeah, Mason.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Right.
like, that was a bit questionable from Kenny as well.
It
Like,
was. I was surprised he went along with that. I would have thought he would have read the room better, and I would have been like, why? Like, no one's going along with this. Like,
especially because we saw like messages from Raul, like, hey,
right.
this gives off the impression that you and Sham are close, and you,
Right.
William, and Sham are a trio, which isn't
Right.
really a thing, but people are getting that impression because he backed up William here. And then William says to Shayna through all this, you
Right.
redeemed yourself in an
Oh, that
alliance.
was that was
And I
hard.
was just like,
so bad.
oh no! And
Yeah.
then thankfully she picked up on it because sometimes people miss stuff like that, and she's like, "What do you mean I redeemed myself?" And then
Right.
through all of this, Ethan's like, "It's gotta be Shayna or Moot." It's gotta be one of them. And then
Right.
Garbage hears about this, and they're like, "All right, well, let's set aside this arguing and just get the target who's targeting some of us."
Right.
So,
So that's how
God,
the target ended up on Ethan.
yeah, more or less.
Right.
But like, just the dynamics on this tribe like erupted here, and it was so bizarre.
Yeah. People are kind of just they're just blowing up their own games for I don't really know why, honestly. Like there could have been a really easy vote, I feel like. With what? Like they honestly could have voted like Sham out if they wanted to. Like most of them. But like they went Ethan and like William, they went for like the really weird like individual game. Like they're trying to play an individual game at like the final
That's
19.
fine. Yeah, which is
Right. Right.
It's too early.
Something like interesting is like William, he made like an alliance chart thingy or whatever, and like
he left
like the
Raoul
diagram.
out.
And
Yeah.
so did you like? I just noticed that like Mason is like kind of on the edge. Like she doesn't. He even drew it out, and it doesn't seem like she has that many connections. Like she's not at the center of the tribe, but he claims that like she's like this social powerhouse, whatever. But like. I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna claim that she's a social powerhouse, and you're gonna make like an alliance diagram like that.
No,
Like,
I'm pretty sure this is a target diagram, right?
I don't
because,
know
like,
what it is.
Because
I
it has
thought it was
Mason.
an alliance diagram at
It looks
first,
like a
but-
target one because it has
Is
a bunch
it?
of people pointing to Ethan, and it has William and Kenny pointing to Mason,
Okay,
and
that
no
makes
one
more
pointing,
sense.
no one pointing to Sham. Like Sham is just there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Wait,
like,
but that's also not accurate. I feel like okay,
yeah,
whatever.
It's not, but
I just don't. I mean, regardless of what it is, I think you're right. It is a target chart. I don't feel like he has like the best views on the game. So,
No.
and I'm worried that if he's gonna be like super vocal about it, then he's gonna like get himself in trouble. And like people were like really weirded out by that. Like everyone, like a lot of people like commented on like the fact that like he's making this weird play to get out someone who's shouldn't like be in danger. Like there's no real reason to get her out. So, yeah.
Moot really stepped it up this episode, which I enjoyed. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised by him. I didn't think that he would confess a lot, but I'm glad that he did.
he also brought up that like this is actually a really good point in Moot's confessional. I'm just reading through it right now. When he's talking about like how their alliance chat kind of blew up in the fights about who should go, and Raoul stayed quiet through it all, and he called him suspiciously quiet, which is a decent read because like Raoul did stay quiet there, but like Raoul was making moves and like strategizing, but when his alliance is falling apart, he doesn't say shit, which is interesting that Moot picked up on that because
Right.
that's not something everyone would pick up on. So like, and that's a good read because like if there's a big fight and stuff, you want to not be a part of it because no blood on your hands if stuff falls apart. But someone
Right.
pointing that out, I don't know. It's interesting to keep in mind. This tribe is so full of distrust between people because like Raoul brought up this trio.
Right.
Moot brought up how Raoul was suspiciously quiet. Like Shayna and William went at it. Like the majority alliance, it has infighting within themselves,
Right.
but then still came together when one of them was targeted. They're like a
Right.
super dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
You're like they can fight with each other, but if anyone else goes through them, they're gonna band together. Is almost what it felt like this episode.
Right.
So while Moya is just like this like finely tuned unit of people who know who's like have a clear pecking order and know who's going, Moya's this super dysfunctional family
Right.
that any outsiders must die, which I think is good in terms of a swap because like even if they keep the infighting, it's clear that there's trust there because once one of their names was brought up, all the fighting went to the wayside.
Right. I mean, who do you think would go if they were to go to tribal again? I guess because I'm not really sure.
William or Mason,
Okay, I'm thinking
Yeah.
William.
because Kenny's protecting Sham.
Actually, I don't know. They might vote out Mason. Like if because you said the garbage, like they were chaotic, but they still like banded together.
Yeah, but half a garbage, like everyone in garbage still has their own agendas. Like Kenny doesn't want to get Sham out no matter what.
Right.
Shayna and Moot want to focus on challenge strength unless they're being targeted. Like
Yeah.
Mason's good in challenges
That's
or
true.
decent enough in challenges
Yeah.
that if they lose again, they really need to be voting on challenge strength, or they're going to just lose every challenge going into a swap.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I think it's hard to say. I'd be interested to see what would happen, but I don't want them to go to tribal because
Yeah,
they're
I
all
don't want them to
right
lose.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this tribe like picked it up this round, but at the end of the day, they came together had a simple enough vote.
Right.
Also, who was it? I forget. Who from which tribe brought up how the person on the other tribe was their clear final? It was someone from
Oh,
Moya.
William. I think William said that Josh, I think, was his final two because
And
they had played and worked together.
It's the weirdest thing. I was
Just-
Yeah.
What
And then
makes you
Josh
think
said he
he's
had a
gonna,
final two with
like,
Cobalt.
work together with you just because you guys like worked in another like org
Another
before?
org. Yeah, it's not.
It's not really how it works. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe they're really good friends, but like at the same time, like
Even then,
you're
like,
on a different tribe. Like you have like a game to play before then, and you never know like what the dynamics will be like at the merge. So like, I feel like he shouldn't count on that, but. We all know he's kind of really planning ahead, so I'm not really surprised to hear that from him. Like to see him kind of like jump to conclusions, right?
it goes back to this thing we brought up. Like he's thinking last 1/3 of the game still.
Right.
And that's going to catch up eventually. I don't know if it's at a swap. I don't know if they go to a first tribal, another tribal. Just at some point, I see
It'll
William
catch up,
going
yeah.
William going home pre-merge at this point because he's overthinking things way too hard.
Right. I think
Um,
in a swap he could definitely be in danger. You know, if he like tries to like push for a target, but like people don't want to deal with that. So Yeah.
Anything else to add, or
Not really
all
that I
right,
can
then
think of. I feel like we got
then-
it all.
player of the week? Who are you guys saying?
Oh, that's hard actually.
good question. Yeah.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say Jacob because all three alliances on Moya, Moya included him.
Yeah.
and
Definitely not
it
anyone in
shows-
SEMA.
It
For
shows
sure.
like SEMA everyone misplayed.
Yeah,
my
everyone was
least
all
my
over the
least valuable player is on SEMA.
Ooh, yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah, I
But-
would say Jacob just because he seems like the kingpin. I think long term I would be concerned because
But like on an individual basis, on an individual episode basis, he played superbly. I think he's
Yeah,
I think
I would agree.
unless he gets like swap screwed, I don't see him going pre-merge. Like I think he's like pretty much set to go to the merge.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah.
And least valuable player, William. do we have to discuss this? Like the guy did so many errors. Like
Yeah.
calling saying Shayna redeemed herself
Redeemed herself.
Right.
Yeah.
alone.
Right.
But on top of that, alienating people by trying to
Right.
bulldoze what he wants. I think like
Right.
I think that would be my choice as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe people might see him as like a loose cannon or something, and you know you don't want that in
Right,
like
yeah,
a game
absolutely.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Any final thoughts before we end this recap off? Here, predict. Okay, I got a new thing I'm gonna add. We're gonna do a hot take. This doesn't have to. This has to be something you want to happen within the next episode or two. Just it could be no matter how outlandish. What do you want to happen? Okay, hear me out.
You start.
I want Aura to find an idol and idol out Jacob.
No.
No,
Oh, wait. No,
No.
hear me out. Hear me out. Jacob has this stranglehold on his tribe right now. If Aura makes this move and takes him out, that tribe is going to be a chicken with their head cut off.
I mean,
And
you're
that would be so
right, you're right,
interesting.
and I would hate to
Because
It's
this
too
tribe,
early.
I think, like going into a swap, they're gonna have a numerical advantage, and I feel like if there's this stranglehold, it's gonna be really boring, and they're gonna have a numerical advantage on every tribe and just pagong. If Jacob goes, there's way more room for people to operate. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts losing Jacob this early, but it's a fun idle play, and it makes things interesting in a swap. Like I said, it's not something that's like probably ever gonna happen, but it's something that would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it would definitely be entertaining in the short term, but
It
I don't
might
know,
be.
I
It
kinda
might
wanna
be.
see Jacob
It might be
last
like a
longer.
U situation where like it was a cool blindside flashy wow.
right.
Then like,
But then,
I think it would hurt the long term game. to be
Yeah.
honest.
all right, Blue, hot take.
I don't know if this is insane. I just want people to find idols at this point, you know.
Wow,
they're-
real hot take there.
I know. I don't know. Okay, I'm not creative enough to think in the moment. Like, because the idols, yes, the idols are out there. We finally put them out there. No one has noticed yet, actually. I think, yeah, you're right. I think we did tire out people because, like, I think Kenny was like reading the rules. Jacob like asked to look at previous servers, which was interesting, and I don't think he found anything from that. I just want people to like. I want there to be like idol paranoia. I think there we go.
Yep.
Idols,
And-
just idols make things more interesting. I agree with you.
Drew.
I don't know what I want, honestly. I just want Moy to lose, but that's not a hot take. I think that's
That's a pretty cold take right there.
Yeah, that's a take you'd find in a freezer. So, I don't know.
Let's think of something fun.
Okay,
I
I don't know. What if there was like, I don't know. I want more Kenna and Kieran drama. That might not be a hot take either.
I want Cow's Cattle to only speak in moves all season.
Okay, all right.
Dominate the game, but only speak in moves in the alliance.
That would be hilarious. I honestly don't know where this alliance came from. Like,
yeah, but like there's no context here.
Okay,
like,
yeah. Okay,
they're just speaking in moves.
Right.
But yeah, all right. That's gonna end us out for this recap. But yeah, a bit more of an exciting episode. I really hope. Yeah. I really hope Moya loses.
Oh my gosh, yes, I'll be so happy.
But yeah,
right.
All right.
And,
I mean, like biased, but I'm very biased.
Right. And like we know like what's gonna happen. Like we the schedule and stuff like that, or like the plan for the game. So I think in the future we might see some more things that are interesting. Just a sneak peek. I'm not gonna say anything else, but I'm definitely excited for the next few episodes. And hope things get more crazy.
Yep.
So yeah.
That'll be all.